Hello, everybody. Today we are going to speak about the code of spoken English. For generation, English-speaking people have been pulled to pieces the words of their language and refitting them into other words explanatory of the current events. A generation passed away, but the new words remained. The new generation practice their use in the circumstances for which they were designed, without appreciating the reason for their coining. In time, the words became part of the colloquial or spoken language, the kind of informal English which is normal in ordinary conversation but not considered acceptable in more formal language. Numerous phrases and words in common usage have grown into the language as slang, unexplainable idioms and euphemisms. Slang is often coined by groups of people, for example, teenagers, students, professionals, etc., who share an interest, occupation, or hobby and are disconnected with the traditional words and expressions. For this reason, it often has a particular colorful and vivid quality, which is the ordinary expression lack. Highly informal slang develops when people meet with a new set of circumstances for which they do not feel the current vocabulary is adequate. Thus, during the period of disturbance or war, there is often a great increase in the number of slang coinages. Very often, these are words which refer to subjects considered by most people not quite respectable. For example, crime, drink, sex, insanity. Slang words may come into fashion and disappear. This does not always happen. Many words that were originally coined as slang have remained to become part and parcel of the language. Thus, words like boss, snob, fun, mob began life as slang, but because they expressed a meaning which no other word quite expressed, they remained in the language to fill a gap. Like other forms of language, slang has its appropriate and inappropriate occasions. For foreign speakers of English and for those dubious about the context of unfamiliar terms, times and situations where certain words are appropriate for use can be baffling. Most slang terms are for use in informal conversations. As meanings are subtle and implications depend on circumstances, it is the best to avoid using any slang term or phrases unless you are sure of its use. Writers and speakers could do without slang, but its colorful and imaginative vocabulary adds vividness and descriptions. Slang dictionaries give the reader a tool to understand slang and its significance in the smaller communities of speaking culture. On the other hand, there are widely used and long-standing set expressions called idioms that continue the backbone of the spoken language. They are indispensable to the daily speech and to the language of newspapers and books, televisions and movies. Whenever you hear a phrase whose meaning cannot be understood even if you know the definitions of the separate words involved, you have probably encountered an idiom. Most idioms have precise construction, and their whole meaning may be lost if you change them. Mastering idioms requires a great deal of listening, studying, practice and usage. The more recent phenomena are euphemism and politically correct, PC words. Both are used to replace less direct words of names for something which is considered to be inappropriate, unpleasant, or offensive in order not to hurt people's feelings or to conceal something, for example, in political or military spheres. Thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye.